Shalom. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be as brief with this one because it's a nice amount of scriptures that I want to go over, but I'm gonna go over a few videos concerning this whole 50 Cent and his son little situation that's been all over the internet. So I'm gonna just hop right into it. Play this video. Let's see.
Him then, because it makes no sense, nigga. I do not care about that. I do not care how much you love in the club, how much you love your last night, how much myself. I do not care, bro. Shit.
For you, because you grew up in a fucking 13-bedroom house. Nigga, I've been in that house. That shit don't mean nothing.
I did not grow up in a 13-bedroom house, one.
Well, anyway, you've been in there. You've been in it. It don't matter.
House.
He don't even be in that motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. It's a different lifestyle. When you're accustomed to different shit, it's different, bro. So you're telling me, hold on, I got a question. So you telling me your child should be privy to the same lifestyle as Elon Musk's children?
Listen, brother. One thing, me.
I'm asking you. No. Answer my question. Do you think they should be living the same lifestyle?
If they living with me, they living my lifestyle. If they living with their mother, they living their mother lifestyle. That's the way it goes.
All right, so hold on, wait. So basically, come on. This is the point.
What's
bro.
The point?
This is the point. Choke. This is the point. So just because, if the child is you, they live their lifestyle. They love the mom. So that means that they should experience two different lifestyles when you have the resources to make sure they live a certain lifestyle regardless. You that butthurt.
It ain't
you that mad that mommy got new dick. Hold on, wait, come out. You that upset.
When it's over between me and your mother, wherever she go on and live on and do on, and I don't even think your parents was married. Like it don't work out, But that don't mean that she got
cool,
to live.
She
got to live.
That's fine. That's
because
fine.
I fucking had a baby.
What point do you say? Oh, I got a question. All right, so with you, your child's supposed to be wearing Louis Vuitton, but with the mom, get that nigga some Skechers. That's basically what you're saying. You okay with that?
What are you talking
about? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with what?
I said, are you okay with that? If your child lives with you, they can wear Louis Vuitton, but when they go back to mommy, they gotta wear
Skechers. Mommy buying
you'll be okay with that? My mom bought me the same exact things that I have with my pop. Well, I'm asking you a question. Would you be okay with your child wearing Louis Vuitton with you and Skechers when they go back to your mom?
That's what the mother choose for them to wear. I'm not into the materialistic shit. Don't give a fuck.
Oh my. I'm not. I don't care. Listen. I don't care. You got symbolism.
You got parents.
Yeah, that has nothing to do. First of all, I don't know why the money even came up. That's not my main thing. I don't give a fuck my friend.
You brought it up.
I'm always find money. I'm not even worried about that.
What I'm saying is, you pay a chick $600-$700 a month. Yeah.
Me? No, that's why I don't have kids.
Okay. Understand that, brother. You see how you say no? That is the hell of a lot of.
And I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this, Brody. I guarantee you this, Choke. And I guarantee you this, Brody. Listen, when I do have a kid, and if we do separate, my child will be living better than me, if need be.
Even if
100%.
Even if they don't respect.
That's my responsibility. I don't give a fuck if the nigga don't like me. So live your life, enjoy it.
Yo,
I brought you into this world.
No, I'm asking you like before having this conversation. Like that. So the thing is,
I spoke to him before. This is my first time speaking to him.
No, I'm saying like but people
right now I don't
make assumptions before even talking to Keith.
Now, I played that because that's a lot of the video where they saying the 6,700 a month. The boy is pretty much upset with his father because his child support was only $6,700 a month, and he wasn't living the type of lifestyle that he feels he should have been living based off him having a father that's so rich and wealthy, based on his father's relationship, with his mother. They had split up, and there's a lot that goes into that. So I'm not gonna go too much into 50 Cent's relationship with the mother. I want to focus more on this child. As you can see, it says right here, 50 Cent's son. It says 50 Cent shares clip of father shooting son after son Marcus Jackson offers $7K for 24 hours with him. As you can see there, it shows entitled. He got the hundreds of dollars right there, and it says entitled. So he pretty much threw it in his daddy's face like he should be entitled, to a lot of those, to that lifestyle that he feels like 50 Cent should have been able to provide for him, letting uh, and when it comes to financially, a lot of people are saying this boy's ungrateful, and I understand, that seems ungrateful, but and according to the scriptures, when you look at Abraham didn't treat all his sons the same way. He left all his stuff to Isaac. He gave his other kids certain things, but the majority of his stuff went to his son Isaac. So I just want to get another video real fast before I really hit these scriptures up, right? This is 50 Cent trolling his son, right? Get this real fast. For people see this, how lightly, these type of situations get taken. And this is 50 Cent.
Council meeting after accusing Ukraine of carrying out a terror attack that severely damaged that bridge.
Okay.
I had to rebuild my life over $6,700 a month.
Marquise, I know you feel like
this nigga's crazy. 25 years old. Why you still talking about child support? I get $5,000 a year. It was with me. That's why I sent his mother to child support. Because the bitch thought that she was supposed to get that much more. She wanted more. That motherfucker nothing. That niggas want to say, look, I don't never ask for shit, man. And I was thinking, nigga, a little extra $6,700 a month. The shit we been doing. I'm gonna spit on fire. That nigga play too much.
Now, I played that video because now I'm going to go in before we watch these other videos. I'm about to grab a couple scriptures too, but I just wanted to show that just to show, pretty much how 50 Cent feels about it, and get both perspectives. And so his sons feel is entitled to a lot more, he feel like he should have been living like maybe 50 Cent's children that are still in this life, that's, but, that's, everybody got their own opinion about this thing. I want to go into, the fact that $6,700 might seem small to this boy. He's 25 years old, still complaining about child support when you're not even a child. Child support gets cut off once a child turns 18, right? So you gotta think about it. You live with your mom, and all that time she could be working or gaining money on top of the child support that's coming to her, but apparently the $600-700 It's something that she was given from this man because of his extreme amount of wealth that he was able to acquire on his own. Let you know, she didn't help him acquire that. He made this money on his own, right? But it's $6,700 a month. Most people don't even make $6,700 a month working at their job, you know. But this boy feel entitled to having more than that. You know, he wants to live the lifestyle, you know, that, you know, of a person that is still living in the household with his father, you know. But um, you know, I would say that's ungrateful as far as financially. What I would be more concerned about is that my father and I ain't spending time together. You know, that's what I would be worried about. Why you ain't in my life, you know? And they there's a lot of things that go into that. So I'm gonna play a few more videos. But before I do that, I just wanna show this because 50 Cent is making joking about it and taking it lightly. And really it's your fault you wasn't in this boy's life. You always knew about him. You know what I'm saying? He is your son, you know, and the drama that you had with his mother caused you to not really be there for him, you know, caused you not to be in his life. Yeah, you supported him financially, but clearly you wasn't there to discipline him and whoop his ass when he needed. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so ungrateful and arrogant. He wouldn't feel so entitled. He wouldn't be so spoiled, you know, because that's like a spoiled child, regardless whether his father was there or not. His father did spoil him with riches financially, you know. So I want to show this verse. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. See, 50 Cent, that's where you messed up. You didn't train that boy up in a way that he should go. Instead, you neglected him based off of your feelings and situation with leaving his mother for whatever reason that was. You know, I'm not uh, too savvy with that information itself, why he and the mother split, but I do know, you know, to a degree, you didn't have to just completely abandon the child over it, you know. So there's a level of accountability on your end. And so now I want to read another scripture. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 24. It says, he that spare his rod hateth his child, but he that loveth him chastise him betimes. Meaning, if you're not around your child enough to raise him and discipline him, but you spared a rod, you wasn't there to give him the type of ass whoopings he needed to prevent him from being a snotty nosed kid that he is. He says, but then that means you gonna grow up and hate him. And now there's situations where you're admitting that you don't really love your son, you know, which means what's left. You practically hate him. He says, but he that loveth him, chastise him betimes. Betimes means often. Meaning when you love your child, you're around them enough to when discipline them often when they mess up, you know. But you can't chastise a child that you're not around. So that goes into train up a child in the way he go. And when he is old, he will not depart. Of course, he's going to depart from being raised the way that you would want him to be raised if you weren't around enough. But how it's looking and what I keep hearing is that you didn't have a relationship with them all. You wasn't really training them up at all. So how could he hold on to those values that you could have instilled in him? He can't. So I'm gonna read another verse. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 13. It says, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Meaning, you withheld correction from that child by not being in his life. You couldn't correct him when he was going off. You couldn't correct him when he needed. You didn't train him up in the way that you would want him to go. So it says, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. I mean, if you was whooping his ass enough, if you was disciplining him enough, he wouldn't even be talking like this. He wouldn't even be acting like this. He wouldn't be doing things that you don't respect or don't expect your son to do, let alone not respect for your son to be doing. Verse 14, thou shalt beat him with a rod, and thou shalt deliver his soul from hell. See, so if your son, as he gets older, start to torment your soul, and make things, your life seem like a hell with all the riches and wealth that you acquire. If he start being mentally frustrating on you, it's because you weren't around to give him that rod of correction. You wasn't there to whoop him, you know what I'm saying, and beat his ass when you were supposed to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get another verse. And this is something very important to understand. It said, honor thy father. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. It says, honor thy father and thy mother. See, you allow this child to just honor his mother by not being there, not being there as a disciplinary figure. The father's supposed to be the disciplinary figure. The mother is the nurturing figure, so he had the nurturer there, but he didn't have his father. He said that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord God give thee. See, because he carries your legacy, so even, when he passed, it's like you still there because your spirit is on him, but you didn't give him anything to honor really. So when he starts seeming disrespectful and bashful, it's because of you're the reason behind it, clearly. I'm gonna get this book right here. This is the book Sirach, and then I'm gonna play. I believe I got a couple more videos to show, but I just want this to be shown because people are watching this whole little this little issue with them online, and that people laughing about it and take it lightly. The Lord is not playing games with these type of situations. We might take entertainment in it, but the Most High is not entertained. If anything, it's a shame in His eyes, And so it's very important for us to understand how the Lord feels about these type of situations rather than us just sitting here being entertained by them so much. So I want to play this video right here to show you how 50 Cent admits he never really had a relationship with his son.
Kids, where are you and Marquise at right now? How's your relationship with?
I don't have a relationship
at all whatsoever.
No, it's an unfortunate situation. All I can think of is the entitlement being filtered, right? So you gotta imagine, how do you make a privileged?
I don't know. Let me
feel
big in this
or angry, like big. You see, when he comes into his own and he starts to have interest in his identity because he's attracted to women at that point, or attracted to men. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But when that happens, there's you start picking things. You start picking your clothes. You start picking. I need these. Specifically, these Jordans are not the new ones that's on the shelf, but the retro ones, right? And imagine your mom going, all right, I figured out how to get them for you, but it just bothers me because your father, you're supposed to have them all.
Right.
And then every time you get what you ask for, all you can think of is how many other colorways they made that you don't have, and your dad don't want you to have. And over time, that programming will make over and over. And you gotta look and say, my grandfather will look and say, if it rattled like a snake and it's little like a snake, is it a snake, or do you need to be bit?
Would you ever?
And it's because you keep seeing the boy show up with people that I'm having differences with. And it feels like people make a common bond on disliking someone. They'll go and be friends with someone that is upset with them because they're upset with them. And it's showing you that he feels like I'm his enemy instead of,
When's the last time y'all talked?
We don't talk.
Wow, at all.
But this is by choice. I've been places where but going places where he was at.
And how old is he now?
21.
22.
Wow. All grown.
Do you ever
Yeah,
see?
like, there's no support, nothing going on now. So it's cool. Like now for you to feel the real world is different because you've been living on an artificial economy in me. You know, so you start to, it'll open your eyes, trust me.
Hell
Do you ever see you guys talking again or repairing that relationship?
I'm
Is
not
that possible?
sure. I'm not sure how you can repair something that it's the same thing I said about game every time we talk about it. So if I didn't motivate it, I'm not sure I can resolve it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can attempt to, like there's points that I've gone places where he was at and he left those places. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because his connection to his mom. Like, look, a female child, the first man they fall in love with is their dad. You know, for the male child, it's the polar opposite. His mom. It's like no matter how cool or tight they are with their dad, they fall in love with mom. It's just instinctively. I think it's something internal.
And now I'm gonna just call bullshit real fast on that because he tried to make it seem like just because if you're a son or a daughter, they have more love for parent based off of gender, which is completely nonsense. You know, I got 3 sons. I don't have no daughters, but I know my sons, they gravitate me more than they gravitate them towards their mom, and they're around their mom a whole lot more. But they look at me like I'm the superhero. You know, they always trying their best to press dad, give me gifts. You know, they love the gifts I give to them. They just long to be like that. You know, all the things that they know that I like, they like, you know, and they try to, you know, strengthen their connection with me. Always they're strengthening their connection with me by liking the things that they know that dad loves this, you know. So I mean, that's all in perspective, you know. And I don't see why he would even say that when he's pretty much showing that he's never really made that true effort to bond with his son. And another thing is, he made an enemy out of his son. And so when you made an enemy out of your son, he started gravitating to people like you said that go against you, that are pretty much your enemies. He's making friends with your enemies. You brought that on yourself, you know, by making an enemy out your son and never really growing that relationship with him. Even with this seeming like you're trying to make an effort to reach out to the boy. It's like it doesn't even make sense. Like you say, well, attempted to, you know, to make amends with him. Like I'll show up in places. Well, did you show up to address him face to face? You know, like were you really trying to build with him? You know, why is it so hard? You know, you saying soon as you get to a place where you know that he's at, he'll just leave. I mean, it just don't sound real genuine. You know, it sounds like, you know, an excuse. You know, it sounds like an excuse, and you know that might explain a high degree of why there's no respect there on his behalf. You know, on his son's behalf for him. You know, it's like, are you truly trying to address me? You know, why is it so hard for you to come to me personally, or to reach out to me personally, or to let me know up off top, like, look, um, I'm about to come out here and meet you. I need you to be there, you know, so we can talk. Like, why? How's that so hard? Especially if it's your son, you know, he can get in your child support at one point every month. And this was 3 years ago, you know, that last video I just showed, because he said it was like 21 to 22. Now the boy's 25, you know. And I understand you're a grown ass boy now, you know what I'm saying? You're still talking about child support from when you was 18. You know what I'm saying? Like child support ends at 18. Like you still complaining about it. Yeah. That would irritate me too. But for the most part, you know, it's bigger than the child support. And, you know, the sense of entitlement might show this boy to be spoiled and rotten, but you know, I mean, his dad is so rich, you would expect him, you know, to aside from the riches, to at least try to pour out some type of uh mental stability in the child, try to be there for him in some way to where you actually talking to him and you know, doing things with them from time to time, you know. But when you just admitted that y'all never had a relationship, then whose fault is that? It's like, come on, bro. You can't just do your child like that and act like, you know, he just gonna grow up and just think you're just the greatest father just because you done spoiled him with a lot of cash. Now, I'm gonna play this show this scripture real fast. This is Sirach, or also known as Ecclesiasticus. We're gonna walk down this thing because this is explaining you and your son and the things you should have did from the jump. This is what you were supposed to do with this boy. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 1. It said, he that loveth his son causes him often to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. So you wasn't around to discipline his kid and whoop his ass when he needed it. So you know what I'm saying? He grow up and he behaves and does things and speak against you in a way to where you don't have no joy of him in the end. You know what I'm saying? So you need to repent and be able to make amends with that boy so that eventually, you know, especially before you die, you will be able to have joy in them. Otherwise, you're going to live with a lot of regrets and it's going to only weigh heavier and heavier as you get older, 50. You know, he said, he that chastises his son, meaning he that disciplines his son, shall have joy in him and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. But nah, you not having joy in your son the right way. You up here making mockery of him and scoffing at him because you see how spoiled and ignorant he might seem on these videos. And now you have your acquaintance come on in the video and y'all all mocking him together, you know, rather than rejoicing over them in a way to where, you know, you're proud of him and proud of his accomplishments because you done instill good things into him, you know, instead of teaching them how to conduct himself and the type of business mindset that you have. Nah, you don't take those type of joy amongst your acquaintances when you come to your son. You take joy in mocking them and making them, you know, and degrading a man, you know, that has daddy issues because his dad was alive and not around. Like I said, I understand, like, if you know you didn't have your dad in your life, 50, for whatever reason. I believe, you know, if I'm not mistaken, if did your dad die or whatever, uh either way, you know, you owed it to yourself to at least give your son some type of attention growing up, you know, some type of upbringing, some type of discipline and stability within who his father is, right? So he says, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. You didn't teach your son, so he don't grieve your enemies. You know, he's supposed to make your enemies feel like, oh, well, you after my dad died, you got to deal with me. But instead, he go hook up with your enemies, like you were saying in this last video. You know, he go make acquaintances with your enemies. He said, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friend he shall rejoice of him. Meaning he's supposed to be able to rejoice with your friends with you, you know. He's supposed to be able to have that same joy in your friend, even if you wasn't there all the time. You know what I'm saying? You didn't give that boy enough attention. You could have saw your son like once a year, twice a year, and spent time with him as a kid. You know, 4 times a year, you could have just took a whole 4 hours, you know, every other week or every other month, and that alone, I know that's what my dad did. You know, he was around just enough for me not to speak ill of him, and he died when I was 8. You know, but he instilled a lot in me, more than my mama did in those 8 years. Then she had my whole life, and she had me every day, almost. So he says, verse 4, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead. See, when you die, is you supposed to have raised your child up in a way to where he just like you. It's like you ain't even die. When your friends and everybody in the family, you know what I'm saying, see him, they like, oh man, you just like your dad. It's like he ain't even dead. You know what I'm saying? It's like you right here. He living through you. He says, for he had left one behind like him. He have left one behind him that is like himself. So you're supposed to raise your child, train him up in a way that he should go so that he don't depart from him. And people gonna be like, dang, he's just like his daddy. He left one behind that's just like him. You know, he left his children, and that's not just because you have a bunch of children. You want all your children to have that spirit. You know, don't be like, oh well, I have other kids. That mean I got to treat that one, foul because we didn't work out. Check this out, verse 5. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. See, you want to be able to, while you're still living, you want to be able to see your child and rejoice in him. And when you die, and when it's time and you're on your deathbed, you don't want to be sorrowful with no regrets. Verse 6. He left behind him an avenger against his enemy. So your child's supposed to fight against your enemies for you. Even if you die, you know what I'm saying? You got somebody that's behind that's gonna keep that hatred for your enemies like you would have. You don't want them to reconcile with them or become friends with them. I know I wouldn't. I want my son to hate what I hate and hate who I hate. Like what I like and love what I love. He said, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends, meaning he gonna show that same respect and make sure your friends and your family is taken care of after you die, But you didn't raise him to be that type of person, so it's on you. He said, he that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wound, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. See, eventually you're going to get to the point it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Your son going to do more and more things that displease you. You know what I'm saying? Slander you. You know what I'm saying? And you making too much of the situation, playing games and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Laughing with your friends about it, mocking it. Because that's what it is. It's called mockery when you sitting up there making a joke out of a serious situation. He said, shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. You know what I'm saying? And it might not seem like that yet, but the older you get, when it start weighing on you, that's how you're gonna feel, like you full of wounds, feel hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's not even talking about physical wounds, but those mental pains, the psyche pain, that heartfelt pain. He says, verse 8, a horse. Oh no, I'm gonna jump down to verse 9. It said, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. So when you play games with your child, they start to worry. So you've been playing with this boy all his life by not being there for it. You know what I'm saying? Now he growing up, and the older he get, it's gonna worry you, the type of person he's becoming, the fact that y'all never had that close relationship. You can even see some pain and a little anger under that smile that you got. You can see it. We can see it. He said, play with him and he will bring thee heaviness. See, that's what he's gonna do. You've been playing with him and he ain't gonna do nothing but bring you heaviness in the end. You know what I'm saying? Don't play games with it. This is a serious situation, even to him. Even under his smile. He might smile about it, but that boy hurt. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's a spoiled child, but it's more to it than just him being a spoiled child, and you know it. You know what I'm saying? Verse 10, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him. So it's one thing not to laugh too much with your child, but laughing at him, that's even worse, especially when you're doing it with your homies. Let's say, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. See, the older you get, the more things progress, you're going to be gnashing your teeth at this boy. You're going to be mad and angry. You know what I'm saying? And you brought this on yourself. This is verse 11. He said, give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his folly. Give him no liberty, meaning give him no freedom. You let this boy run free all his youth. You wasn't there to discipline him, correct him, whip his ass when he needed it. And now, you want to laugh and just make it seem like this boy is just spoiled and out of order. He says, and wink not at his follies, meaning the foolishness. There's foolish things that you want to wink at and joke about and take lightly. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, 50. You know what I'm saying? Now that your son growing up, he kind of, you know what I'm saying, been a little softer than he should be. And we know you wasn't no soft kid when you was his age, when you was, you know what I'm saying, coming out with get rich or die trying, but your son is, because you ain't raised him to be the type of man that you are. You know what I'm saying? So he seems weaker than he should be. He shouldn't be this weak, 50. You let your son grow up to be this weak and fragile, and then you want to laugh about it. This verse 12. It said, bow down his neck while he is young. Meaning while he was younger, you were supposed to make sure he was submitting to you. How you going to do that when you're not around, 50? Just because you're paying child support, 50. He said, and beat him on the sides while he is a child. And you see, you're supposed to be whooping his ass when he was a child. He wouldn't be acting like this and talking like this right now. He wouldn't be thinking like this. He wouldn't even step to you like this. You know, he would keep all of that on the hush because he would have respect and honor for you as he should. He says, bow down his neck while he is young and beat him on the sides while he is a child. Because you can't just start whooping on a grown man. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you do that while he's young so that he can grow out of that, even needing the ass whooping. But at this point, you know what I'm saying, his spoiled ass just needs an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? It's too late, though. It's unless he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee. Ain't that what you're dealing with? A stubborn child that's disobedient to you. Like you said, he don't even want to be in the same place as you when you show up. He said, and so bring sorrow to thy heart. And you know you feeling it. You know it's weighing on your mind, on your heart. It said, verse 13, chastise thy son and hold him to labor. See, you were supposed to discipline your child and hold him to labor. You're supposed to teach him all them things that cause you to be the type of man you are. You know what I'm saying? Give him jobs and tasks that can build him up into being the type of, have the type of work ethics you have. Lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Now his lewd and disrespectful behavior is being an offense to you. Because he's sitting up here still at 25 complaining about child support that he shouldn't even be worried about no more now that he's a man. You know what I'm saying? Verse 14. Better is a poor being sound and strong of constitution. See, the Most High look at a man like me or men like, you know, I'm not saying me per se, but I am a poor man compared to you. You're very rich. But he said, better is a poor man that is sound and strong of constitution, meaning you're strong in the morals of the Most High, strong in the laws and the ways of principles, you know, and certain principles than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. You afflicted in your body because that son is the fruits of your loins. He comes from your body. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with your own flesh. You're afflicted by your own flesh right now. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that it ain't bothering you. It's bothering you. So just be real. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to you, you know, and it's going to only get worse unless you repent and go make amends with that child in the right way. Do it directly. Do it strongly. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you should be begging your damn son to have a conversation and spend. He shouldn't have to offer you $6,700 a month worth of the child support from the past. He shouldn't have to just to spend 24 hours with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying you should spend whole 24 hours with him, but you know what I'm saying? Spend some damn time with him. Because you saying that he won't, that he's leaving all these places when you pop up, but it sounds to me like you won't even spend a reasonable amount of time with him from what he's saying, you know. So I wanna play this last video before I shut this down. This is 50 Cent explaining why he hates his son or why he doesn't love his son. And y'all can be the judge of, you know, either one. I wouldn't judge no one, you know, but as far as criticize, that's what I mean. Y'all can criticize, be the critics. Who's right and wrong here? I think they're both wrong, but I think it's 50 is the forefront of it. He's wrong because you should have raised your son better, or at least raise them to some degree. You didn't raise them at all. So this is the video.
People from the outside, the boy looked just like you.
That's good.
They a lot of people from the outside think that situation is sad. Man. The child can't come to something.
It is sad. It's a sad situation, right? And when you pray for success, you don't necessarily pray for the things that come with it, right? And there's no such thing as success without jealousy, without envy, or entitlement. Entitlement is growing in someone you love, and the scariest part, right? And his mom developed an entitlement that cannot be met. Filtering that energy through his actual personal interests let's say now that he's starting to like females, he's conscious of what kind of shoes he want to wear. I need these Jordans, the retro Jordans is coming, different things. And then his mother go, all right, I'll get them for you, but it just bothers me because you're supposed to have them all. So while being a privileged child, he feels deprived. When you had everything I didn't have. I can tell you how much my kids cost in New York State, $1.360. You see what I'm saying? And I don't have an issue with paying the support. The reason why I'm the way I am, with those kind of situations, I pay my support that year that the baby's born. Move the money to the account, let it, and it automatically disperses a certain amount of money per each month. So with him, I noticed over the years like it developed, because I blamed it on his mom for a long time. But it's not his mother, it's him. Like I've gone places where he was at, he left.
Fifth, you love your son?
I used to. You ask yourself how long, a complicated question would say, how long can you love something that don't love you back? You see, so in this experience, you look and you say, I didn't think success would cost me my firstborn, but it's the situation.
Now, I just want to stop it right there because notice that he said he used to love his son, but he also admitted in the last video he never even formed a relationship with his son. So you love him in word, you never loved him in deed and in action. You never was there for him. You never gave him the attention that he actually needed, not that he wanted. You never gave him any type of attention that he truly needed. So now that he's grown and he's yeah, all you did was support me financially. You never was here for me in any situation where a boy would need his dad there. You know what I'm saying? So you can say you loved him. You truly loved him in word. You never loved him in action. And so you can say you used to love him, but in his mind, his son's mind, you never loved me. You never showed it. Only way you possibly showed it is through child support, and that's because child support is mandatory.
Like my grandfather would say, if I like a snake, if it's slither like a snake, is it a snake or do you need to be bit? Right? And that's the Aiken, South Carolina, and this is the country, she'll say. And
you notice he keep on all the videos we played of him so far. He keep using the same different spills, you know, from the snake analogy to now that he's starting to grow up and like girls, or even he was even confused with whether his son even like girls or boys. He don't even know. It seemed like he don't even care. You know, then also, you know, when it deals on with you know, the shoe thing, you know what I'm saying? He's starting to like this certain shoe, and like it's bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's your fault, you know what I'm saying?
What he keeps saying is every time you see the boy, you show up with somebody you got a problem with. What does that take?
And that's why I said he showed somebody you had a problem. He said that in the last video. You made an enemy out of your son, so now he's rocking with your enemies. But what the scriptures say, if you would have just raised him right, if you would have just gave him the attention and the time and the discipline that he needed, he wouldn't even be in that situation. He would be a problem for your enemies. I hope your other children, or if you, I know you got one more son. I'm not sure how many kids you got, but I hope that you're at least giving them enough time to have a mindset that's not like this boy's.
People will always try to make relationships on a common bond of disliking someone. Like, be friends with you because your enemy is my enemy. Yeah. And he sees himself that way. To the extent where he's actually taking pictures with Preem's son or doing different things that, and you go, well, I'm like, I don't even understand where your motivation comes from with these things, but.
Can you excuse any of that because of how young he is?
No, he's 23 years old, 24 years old. It's not a baby anymore, it's a grown man. See, I look at you as you've grown, the decisions that you make as you start to pass what they would have did to us. They would have charged me like I thought at 15. So at 23, it's like you grown in my head. My homeboys, they had their babies at 15. At that point in the neighborhood, that was when you actually got into, we started the sexual thing You know what I'm saying? It's something to really get into, and everybody 15, 16 years old was the point that he was having kids. So like I was super late.
This dude is literally comparing being grown to when you start having sex and all of these things, as if that is what constitutes a person being grown after not being raised properly, especially by a father figure who's instilled what being a man is into a child. A mother cannot. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with a man who was raised primarily by his mother, you know, and his surroundings. So of course, you know, he's gonna have more effeminate tendencies that if you would just be the type of man he need, you can actually uh actually uh flood some of that out of him by giving him your understanding of not just masculinity, but his actual father's mentality and masculinity that he desired as a child. So again, you know, it's your fault, 50.
With him, because I didn't want to have, you know, something that I didn't actually connect with, because we both was babies, you know, at that point. And then later, you know, I mean,
you know, it's funny because he just considered himself when he had his child to still be babies, but when it comes to his son, you know, you're like, well, okay, well, he's still a baby. I mean, he's not a baby; he's a grown man. So you just let yourself off with being a baby when you had your first child, but when it came to him, you know, your son, oh, he's a grown ass man, huh? And in my eyes, yeah, he is grown. He's a grown ass man, but he still has the mentality of a child that was raised by a single mother because you didn't raise him.
Something that I didn't actually connect with, because we both was babies, you know, at that point. And then later, you know, I mean, all these things don't turn out the way you want. Life just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? And
what would have to happen for you guys to have a relationship again? That's the last question I'll ask about.
I don't know. I ran into him one time. This is ill, right? Right after it was 2 months before his support was finished, right? And at the time, he's standing at the desk talking to the jeweler, and he had a small diamond chain, 2 small diamond chains, trying to get a bigger diamond chain, right? Trading them, see how much you can get that one. And I walked in, he goes, "Oh, you got somebody like watching me?" I said, "Nah." He said, "Oh, so coincidence?" He said, "Yeah, coincidence." Then he turned back to the jeweler. He goes back to talking to the jeweler, and he's like, "Nah, I can't do that." Now I'm like, because of how much the jeweler's asking him for. Said he can't do it. Oof. Negotiating, putting 2 small diamond chains back to get a bigger diamond chain with the money I'm mailing him. His mother never had a job. She didn't do nothing. I would have questioned whether I was wrong if she did something after the fact. She genuinely did not want to do nothing. This girl looked in my face and told me, like, she was like, "You what, Mike Tyson's house?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Why you ain't tell me this?" I said, "Because you ain't moving there." Well, I would have had to leave them in Mike Tyson's house. Like Mike left his old lady in him there when I got it. You see what I'm saying? So, because they would have said he's accustomed to this lifestyle and this is what he would have. It would have changed the whole scenario. So when I said, "Nah, you got to go. You gonna get a place over here." I gave her the same money that I gave my grandmother to buy my grandmother's house, for her to pick out a house and buy her house. And you go there until you figure out what you want to do. You don't want to do nothing.
I agree with that. That was smart of 50 not to move the baby mama that he was having issue with and with her and his son, because now since they're accustomed to that lifestyle, he would have to pay even more child support when $6,700 is more than enough to provide his child a decent and respectable lifestyle. More than enough, I should say, not just enough. It's more than enough, you know, especially when that, you know, me personally, as a, you know what I'm saying, I've been working since I was 14. So that on top of child support that I would have been getting till I was 18, you know, I would be balling out of control. So I understand that, you know, you don't need to be putting all this money into your the child. You know, you need to still be able to learn how to have work ethics within itself, but at the same time, you know, you weren't there to raise him, so you know, the work ethics, that the greatest part of his work ethics, what was ripped from him being able to have, mainly based off the fact that he was spoiled growing up through a childhood with that child support money, and nobody there to really help him understand how to manage it, how to use it, how to work, invest it, and how to invest in himself. You didn't teach him any type of work ethics. So
I'm not coming with me stand like that. She was like, you did it already. Don't nobody work without have to work. You already did it. Feeling like the records you already sold. If I was thinking like that, that's who I was. Yeah, they've been over. Damn. Because if you think about it, a lot of people, like when in the book I say, when you hustle, right? When you hustle, you adapt a mentality, you live by those ways, right? If you get experience a setback, it's okay. So it's always, the setback is for the get back. It's for, for you to feel that low, the way you feel when something goes bad. Damn, it's for how it feels when it's going right? So you can actually feel that, experience that joy at that point, and then you could be getting money. Police sweep. You got 3 people busted at one time. You got to bail all of them out. I pay lawyer fees for all of them. You got to have all your money that you had in the bank that you felt was just yours and profits is now taken out of your profits and placed into the necessity of keeping you functioning.
So with that whole little spiel going down, that's it.
Is that a reason for you not to know?
And so pretty much, with that, I hope everybody got something from that. I brought out some good scriptures to help bring perspective to this whole little situation. I hope 50 sees this and understands how the Lord sees the situation, because that's his words that I use, to rectify, the understanding of how a father and son should be toward each other, and how the son should honor his mother and his father, especially it says his father and mother. So, he should honor you, but how he gonna honor a person that's not doing honorable things in his life other than just paying child support? You can't pay a child for a child's respect for you. You have to really be there, being a good father and doing those things that a child admires and honors in a father, So I hope everybody took some good notes, at least for those scriptures. And you can like this, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be making a lot videos and putting them scriptural perspective on them. So just like it, share it with your friends, share it on Facebook, wherever you want to share it. Just make sure y'all giving the likes and and mainly those subscriptions. The more subscribers I get, the more content that I can put out on a higher level. I'm trying to elevate this channel to the point to where, not only is this reaching the masses, but, to where we can have better, graphics and better, people coming on, from all over the place, So if you got to share it, subscribe it, and hopefully, the views go up and up and up. But with that, I'm going to say shalom. I love my people. For you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, I love you. I don't give a damn about nobody else. You are the Israelites the Bible speaks about. And all of my content is to reach y'all and to resonate and set on y'all mind. So with that, I'm going to say shalom, barakatah, haya, Yahweh, Most High God. Whatever you choose to call him, Yahuwah. The great I am, the Most High God. Shalom.